Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin?
Bitcoin.
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 There's a halving event to come. What impact will that have?
Why don't you break this down simply for people like me that don't fully understand it?
Okay.
Bitcoin halving is complete and the Omega candle is in sight. Things have never been more bullish for Bitcoin. This halving was, well, unlike any other. We got a special report from Robert Downey Jr. on the JPEGery and Bitcoin fees. But what comes next? Well, get your popcorn ready, ladies and gentlemen, because we have major Bitcoin news from all across the globe. The world is waking up to the unstoppable force that is Bitcoin. In short, gradually then suddenly, it looks like it's about to reach escape velocity. And I don't know if anyone is bullish enough.
Party, that party. Come and have a good time with G.O.D.
Now, like we said, that Bitcoin halving was unlike any other. We saw those fees. That was wild. And we had a special report from Robert Downey Jr. down on the trading floor during the halving. And I think his analysis was pretty on point.
This is the most obnoxious group of money-hungry, low IQ, high energy, jackrabbit, fucking wannabe, big-time, small-time, shit-talking, bothersome, irritating bunch of motherfuckers I have ever had to endure for more than 5 minutes.
That's a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, do not shitcoin. It's bad for you. The perfect storm for Bitcoin to shock the world is here, and it's amazing to be alive and living through this transition, the separation of money and state. But I couldn't help but think of how far we've come. Take a look at this. From the IMF. I think saying we're winning is a little bit of an understatement. Bitcoin isn't asking anymore. It is demanding. It's kicking down the doors. Now, if you ask yourself, what does the perfect storm for Bitcoin to absolutely melt faces look like? Well, it looks almost exactly like right now, the early innings of hyper-Bitcoinization. As the globe and BRICS are working towards abandoning the dollar, China and Russia now basically $0 settlement, with BRICS, of course, making their moves. And that's not that new, but this news out of Venezuela is global energy trade, namely oil, being settled in Bitcoin. Well, it isn't just a hop, skip, and a jump, but like, well, it's right here. We're right here. How massively bullish would it be if energy trade was conducted in Bitcoin? And you don't just have to take it from me. Peter Dunworth and Greg Foss have also touched on this.
Energy will be the most important step. That will be the big event that I believe causes people to realize why Bitcoin is so darn cheap at a price that it's currently trading at. Ultimately, I believe there will be a time when everything else is priced in Bitcoin, and that is the truest measure of account.
And the idea that it's going to be energy because energy goes back to energy.
Correct. It's proof of work, and it's the law of conservation of energy. Price everything in a digital commodity that's transferable, portable, verifiable, everything that's beautiful about Bitcoin that you can't do with gold. Those sorts of macro events, they do happen. And when they happen, they change the whole world order.
There's roughly somewhere between $7 to $10 billion worth of trade globally in the oil markets. And I think they're the first people who should get this and want hard money, because it's quite symbiotic with what their operations are. When they want Bitcoin for their hard-earned oil rather than US dollars, you know, that's the equivalent of somewhere between 2 to 3 Michael Saylors entering the market every single day.
But now we can see with sanctions, Venezuela is moving another direction. And after recent news of the mining ban in Paraguay, we have news that a member has responded by proposing Bitcoin as legal tender. We have major players, oil-rich countries on the verge of adopting Bitcoin as their currency of choice.
BRICS is trying to launch their own currency, right? So they're still stuck in the fiat mindset. And maybe it takes them a couple more years to go through the thought process, but eventually all roads lead to Bitcoin. And they have to understand having a decentralized money that no one controls and that you can teleport around the world is probably the best mechanism for conducting international trade. It doesn't take a lot of effort to use Bitcoin for international trade. It just takes a couple of brains thinking about it and making that jump. You could see some sort of trade agreement emerging in Latin America if more countries there did adopt Bitcoin. It could be like Guatemala trading with El Salvador or something like that, and they'll settle in Bitcoin.
Majorly bullish, but not enough in and of itself to form the perfect storm. But with the halving, this Bitcoin ETF demand, this tsunami of demand is buying into a supply shock. unlike any we have ever seen. You remember the O-fucking? Oh yeah, that's on the table. With Bybit foreseeing Bitcoin supply to run out on exchanges in 9 months. Check this out. Bitcoin reserves in all centralized exchanges have been depleting faster with only 2 million Bitcoins left. If we assume a daily inflow of 500 million to Bitcoin spot ETFs, at that pace, it will only take 9 months to consume all of the Bitcoin remaining. And that was Bybit, the world's third largest exchange, very bullish on Bitcoin, stating that after the halving, the supply squeeze will propel Bitcoin's price to new records. But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
Now, another factor with these new players coming in, BlackRock, Fidelity, nation states, ETFs in China. While they're draining the supply, the hodlers aren't selling and the whales continue to accumulate. Here's a chart showing the trend in the Bitcoin inflows going toward these accumulation addresses. The graph shows Bitcoin inflows to accumulation addresses have recently achieved a new record in this spike. 1.7 billion at the current exchange rate have flowed into the wallets of these perennial hodlers in a single day. The indicator's previous all-time high was witnessed a couple of months ago when the accumulation addresses purchased 25,100 Bitcoin, 1.6 billion. And again, the chart shows that this buying spree occurred during the rally, eventually resulting in Bitcoin touching new highs. Now, as such, you know, history sometimes rhymes. The latest strong accumulation from these diamond hands may be, well, very bullish for Bitcoin's price. The frequency and scale of large purchases from this cohort have been extraordinary in the recent months. Probably a bullish signal. Now, before we break down where this could take Bitcoin's price, let's take a moment to recognize our sponsors, the Bitcoin Way. Now, Simply Bitcoin Originals are powered by the Bitcoin Way. They are your IT team in the Bitcoin world. You know, understanding the why of Bitcoin sometimes isn't challenging, especially in clown world, but the how can be. And at the Bitcoin Way, they are here to help bridge that gap, marrying the why to the how. They can help you with all things Bitcoin, from setting up your first wallet and node all the way up to inheritance planning, accepting Bitcoin payments for your business, and all aspects of Bitcoin security and privacy. They even work with their clients on configuring routers, devices, and networks, and just improving their overall digital hygiene. Also, growing interest in UTXO management and coin joining, the Bitcoin Way has got you covered. Hey, looking to become a master of self-custody? You can schedule a free 30-minute consultation using that link below. Okay, now let's think about this. Everything that Saylor predicted would send Bitcoin parabolic has been fulfilled. FASB, check. ETFs, well, putting up record numbers. Numbers that have Larry Fink, well, bullish AF on Bitcoin. But banks, well, check this out. They're racing to offer Bitcoin. Take a look around. $1 million Bitcoin is inevitable.
I think this year we're gonna hit 1 million.
You think we hit 1 million this year?
If not this year, next year, but it's coming very soon.
So if you think about it, you now has an asset with the most demand it's ever going to have, right? You've got all these people just able to come on, and supply has been cut, coins on exchange are down, so you're having a whole bunch of pent up and potential demand hitting lower supply. To me, that's the bullish setup for Bitcoin.
Bitcoin's price equals technology plus fiat liquidity. So it's going to go up because it's innovative tech and it's better money. But what really shoots it up at a neck-breaking pace is when our government is tens of trillions of dollars in debt and has to roll that debt over. So they got a lot of money to print, and financial assets are going to soar. And Bitcoin goes up the most because it's the hardest to make more of. It's over, man. This thing's going to the moon.
We are about to enter escape velocity, ladies and gentlemen. So strap in and be sure to like, subscribe, set those notifications, follow us on Twitter for all the latest breaking Bitcoin news, and be sure to share that sound money gospel. I'll catch you all next time. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, fuck you.